Hello. So it's nighttime here in Bali, but I just had this thought about insecurity, and I felt like I wanted to go live and talk about it. So here it is. Um, and I feel nervous. Um, so here's what it is. I think for a long time I've been terrified of being insecure. Whereas like I always had this feeling like I have to have my shit together, I have to have my act together, I have to know what I'm doing, I have to like a part of me was like, I want to be invincible. Like, I want to be strong. I want to be powerful. Hi, Eugenia. Hi, Larry. Go ahead and just chat hi. I'd love to connect with you. Hi, Patrick. A part of me was like, I want to be invincible. Like, I want to feel like the world can't get me. And one of the things I've been coming to terms with is just the depth of how insecure I actually am. And yeah, and what I mean by this is like insecure in these tiny little ways where I let things and life and people impact me. So I'll give you an example. One of my good friends, Ainsley, hi Ainsley, is leaving Bali. And when she said that, I almost started crying, like my eyes welled up and I got all teary-eyed. And then I immediately felt embarrassed. And I was like, I haven't even known her that long. Like, why would I cry? That's silly. And so I felt a little insecure then. So that's one example. And if you're joining, just say hi. I'd love to hear from you. This is a video celebrating our collective insecurity because I think sometimes we're insecure about being insecure. So I just want to do a Facebook Live on it. So say hi if you're watching. And yeah, and then another spot where I was insecure this week was a friend asked me to do something, and that little part of me so much wanted to keep her friendship and keep her liking me that I said yes when I actually meant no. And so looking back at that, I was like, that was a really insecure thing to do. You know, if I had been, and then my mind was like, if only I had been more confident or more trusting, I wouldn't have done that. Oh, Eugenia says, I've just been dealing with shame. Real buzz, Robert. Yes, it's so true. And I think that's why I love talking about insecurity so much is because there's usually so much shame around it. Like, you know, I love attachment styles. And if you've ever heard about them, they're like different ways of relating. And there's like the anxious attached, the avoidant, and then the ideal is secure attached. Like, and so a part of me is like, oh, well, I have to be secure. I have to hold it together. Anyway, hi, Semo. Hi, Manuel. Say hi if you're joining. And then just one more example of insecurity is I was watching my partner loves contact dance. He's an amazing dancer. And I watched him dance with another woman, and I immediately was like, ugh! Like that little part of me got like tight in my chest. And I was like, no. Eugenia says codependency. Totally. Yeah, these types of insecurity, it's like a form of codependency, but I think that it's really powerful to admit it. Hi, Emmanuel. And I actually think that each of these, all of the little spots where I'm judging myself for being insecure, I think they're actually superpowers. And here's why. And maybe you can relate. Like if you're watching this, think about a time when you felt insecure this week, like a spot where you were like uncertain or nervous or scared or irrationally emotional. Hi, Scott. And just think about a time when you were feeling insecure. And then the interesting thing to me is like, if I'm feeling insecure, my next reaction is usually some form of shame. Like, I should not feel insecure. I should feel more secure. I should feel stronger. Which, if you've ever done that, you're like, that doesn't really work. Yeah, just drop a chat, say yes, totally, if you can relate. Eugenia says, so powerful. In fact, they are loosening their power over you when you bring light to them. Exactly. It's like anything in our shadow, if we can love it and own it, it doesn't own us, which is super powerful. So insecurity, neediness, those were some of the things biggest and loudest in my shadow. So why is it a superpower? Hi, Pedro. Hi, Trevor. Good to see you guys. Why is it a superpower? Well, I think the first thing is that it is so courageous to let the world impact you. So like when my friend Ainsley was leaving and I started crying, it was like, thank God I let myself care enough about someone that it brought me to tears. Because what's the alternative? The alternative is that we're just like cloaked our hearts and we don't let ourselves care about anyone and we pretend we're invincible, right? So it's like the opposite of insecurity is this like unpenetrable heart. So hi, Joseph. Hi, Christopher. It's so I love seeing you guys. Your names pop up. This is so fun. And so it's like insecurity is one of like the smoke to me on the flame that lets me know that I'm actually opening my heart and caring about someone. Like if I have let myself feel that shaky tenderness of insecurity, I'm like, oh, good job. Good job. You let someone in. And I think that's so powerful. Hi, Mark. Hi, Trevor. If this is resonating with you too, or if you have thoughts or questions, chat them. I'd love to do a conversation. Umang! Oh, and Olivia. Oh, this is really nice. Yeah, so I think it's like one of the benefits with insecurity is like I can feel my heart and I can feel my tenderness and be like, and especially when I love it, it's like it's okay to care. It is safe to care about people in the world. Just gonna let that one land. And to be impacted by the world in reverse is like to take some of the armor off and the masks and just be like, I care. And you know, so that example when James was dancing with the other woman, I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. I knew it wasn't rational. And still like the little part of me got, eek. And so then I just like took myself outside and I like, self-soothing is a word in psychology. It's amazing, but it's like how you talk to yourself when you're feeling insecure. And because insecurity, it usually comes from like our little child part inside that's like 3 years old or 2 years old, or like everyone has a different age that they associate with it. And it's so sweet. And so it's like, okay, how do I like hold myself, talk to my inner child, be like, I'm safe, I'm loved. So I'm learning. It's a skill. But the insecurity is a sign that that skill is popping up. Does this resonate? Does this make sense? Let me know. Just chat, say yes or no, or any examples come to mind. The other one is, and this one's a little esoteric, so I hope you don't mind me going there, but the impermanence of things. So insecurity to me is like, it's a fundamental recognition that nothing in our world is permanent, that there's nothing stable on which to rely. And that's terrifying. Like, and every time I try to put my stability in something, a job, financial security, a man, good looks, mind, whatever, that thing will eventually leave. And we're all dying. That thing is dying. Nothing is permanent. I had this memory once of walking on the street with my friend, and he looked at me and he started crying, and I was like, why? He said, I know you're gonna die someday. He's like, and I love you, and you're gonna die, and you're gonna leave me. And it was so sweet because it's true. It's like it's impermanent. Like there is, and I think insecurity is just the recognition of that. So, yeah. And even though we're like grasping, like maybe this one will find some solid ground there, or maybe this thing I'll find some solid ground there. None of it will stay. I remember once being in India, this is kind of a tangent, and I was with these two women. I was staying at an ashram, and these two women told me, you won't be spiritually free until you're ready to give up everything. And I was terrified by that. I was like, what are you talking about? That's absolutely insane. But I think there's some truth in that. Like, and I don't think you have to literally give up everything, but there's some recognition that like, there's nothing stable. There's nothing like, okay, I'm gonna read some of your comments now. Oh, I love your commenting. Say hi if you're joining. Trevor says, if someone is feeling insecure, aren't they just feeding into their victim state of mind? It's such a good question. And I think even if they are in a victim state of mind, how can that be okay too? Like all of us fall into victim, all of us at some point or another. And I don't think it's anything to be avoided necessarily. It's just like, can we catch ourselves in it and love it anyway? Like I fell into a victim state today. I wanted some affection from someone. I went to them and they didn't give me the affection that I wanted. So I went to another friend and complained about them. And then she just looked at me and she's like, well, what did you want? And I was like, oh, I wanted them to hold my hand. And so I was in a victim because I was making the other person responsible for my experience. And so it's like, it's not bad if we're going to fall into victim necessarily. It's just like, can we love ourselves there and then see how we created it? So that's my thoughts, Trevor. Christopher says, it just happened to me. Oh, I'm so glad you can relate. Umang says, insecurity means you care, and there's something beautiful about that. So giving yourself permission there allows us to keep showing up bigger. Oh, I love that. Yes, totally. It's like, if you don't care about anything, you won't be insecure about anything. Like, if I don't care what you think, if I don't care if anyone hears my message, I don't care if anyone's watching, but I do. Scott joined, Mario joined. Joseph says, my insecurities come from feeling as though no woman can meet me where I need to be met in my vulnerability. So while I don't relate to the fear of losing my woman to another man she is dancing with, I do fear she can't meet me when my heart is at its most sensitive with her for sure. That is so, yeah, I feel that. It's like both the longing to be vulnerable and to be met and to be held there. And I think the thing that I want to say, Joseph, that just brought that up is it's like the longing is so beautiful and so insecure because it's like I want to be met. I want to offer my vulnerability to someone and have someone reach back and meet me. And we don't know if anyone will, right? So it's like if I reach out and I'm like, this is important to me, this is my vulnerability, we don't know if anyone's going to come and meet us. And it's that longing and that gap where the uncertainty, the insecurity, and also the magic is. So I feel you. And it's beautiful that both you are in touch with your heart sensitivity and that you want to find a woman that's willing to meet you. So I just want to say that. Hi, Cecile. Hi, Elizabeth, Bianca. If anyone else has comments or questions, would love to hear them. Like what's coming up for you? Where's the spot you've been feeling insecure lately? If you want to. What was I going to say? Yeah, I guess I just want to share one other story that just happened to me today. I'm in an amazing training right now, and it's coaching and speaking from the heart. And one of the exercises was we have to be the teacher, and then we have two students, and we say, please raise your hand. And when the students feel called, they feel like they want to raise their hand, they do. And when they don't want to, they don't. And as the teacher, it's like immediate feedback about if the way that I said, please raise your hand, resonated. And I noticed for probably the first couple of minutes, I said, please raise your hand. And they didn't raise their hand. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a failure. I can't get anyone to raise their hand. And then I went in deeper and I was like, of course I can't get anyone to raise their hand. That's not in my control. That's not my control, and that's not my job. My only job is to offer the invitation and then surrender and be like, who wants to meet me here? And I think that it's exactly that opening and that invitation, please raise your hand, that's so vulnerable and so insecure, and also invites out exactly the thing that I was looking for. So, and then finally, the way that they started raising their hand is when I let myself really open to the vulnerability of saying it. So I was just like, oh, and the other thing is I can say it like this, please raise your hand, trying to coerce you into it. Or I can be like, please raise your hand. So, yeah, a couple thoughts on insecurity. Hi, Carolina. Hi, Mark. Any other questions, thoughts, comments? If not, I think I'm going to close in a minute, but The reason that this video is so important to me is because insecurity and neediness and this tenderness is something that I'm working to reclaim from my shadow and to bring more love and approval to. And so I want to make a video, and maybe if you also feel a little embarrassed or ashamed of feeling insecure, I just want you to know that it's totally okay and that you are lovable even with your insecurity, and especially because of your insecurity. So I think that's a good stopping point. All right. Good night, everyone. Or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you're calling in from. I'll see you later.